The whole situation we are going through has caused all sorts of upheaval for lots of you, lots of businesses. One of those businesses feeling the effects, Chester Zoo.
Yeah, and the zoo's boss warned that it's facing extinction this week. But there's a battle to save it. Dr Scott is there for us now to find out more. Good morning, Scott. And very worrying for the zoo. 89 years, I believe, the zoo has been running. Staff worried, as we said, the boss there saying that, you know, the whole place is facing extinction.
Yes, good morning, Ruth. Good morning, Eamonn. Yeah, it is quite concerning here at Chester Zoo. It is an incredible place, 128 hectares and 35,000 animals they look after here, which makes it the largest zoo in the UK. And obviously when you're looking after incredible creatures like this, it costs money. And it's thought that the bill is about £1.6 million every month to upkeep all the creatures here at the zoo. And one of the big concerns here, of course, is as a result of the government's continued lockdown and restrictions on opening places like zoos, it means that their income stream is completely cut, about 97% drop in income because simply they can't welcome visitors. So I'm joined here not only by the incredibly awesome Benny. There he is chowing down on his breakfast. Very keen on eating is this boy at 2.32 tonnes. But I'm also here with James, one of the keepers. James,
hello.
Thank you for having us. So look, what does it take to look after these animals on a daily basis?
Well, you touched on something there. You know, this is Benny, 2.3 tonnes. He loves his food. But that food's a huge cost for us here at the zoo. We reckon we're spending about £500,000 every month just on food for these animals.
Wow.
And they take such a lot of looking after. And on top of that, you know, a dedicated animal team has to look after these animals, and that's not changed for us.
Yeah, and then as far as actually the amount of time that you guys are working here at the zoo, despite the fact you're closed, it's still really business as usual, isn't it?
For us keepers, it's exactly that, business as usual. We're trying to get on with our job as best we can. We pride ourselves on a high level of animal welfare for these guys, and we don't want to have to scrimp on that. The longer this goes on, we're going to find ourselves in a bit of trouble, though, I think.
Yeah, so look, I love Benny so much. We are going to have to leave him because you've got some other animals to show me here at the zoo, haven't you?
I think we'll have a little walk over to the elephants over here.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. So tell us as well, because of course, you know, the zoo is being very responsible and are trying to control COVID with a lot of different restrictions and protection, not just for people, but for animals as well.
Yeah, we've put a huge effort financially and in time to get ready to open. We've installed self-scanners so people don't have to come to the tickets in the front of the desk. We've got signage all over the zoo now just to remind people about that 2-metre distance to keep apart.
Yes, the distancing we're doing right now.
We're doing right now, yeah. And we've actually got a dedicated team that was set in place that would be set out throughout the whole zoo, just reminding people to you know, be careful of each other. And we want people to come here without having to worry about all this. You know, people know how to do social distancing now. We just wanted to provide them a nice place where they can come outdoors, enjoy the weather, enjoy the animals, and that's kind of what we were hoping to get doing this week.
Yeah, and we're seeing the elephants here, but I know that you've actually installed some PPE when it comes to looking after animals as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true. So our primate teams and our carnivore teams are actually wearing PPE as a precaution working with animals. There's been a couple of cases around the world where animals potentially have picked that up, so it's as an extra, you know, precaution for that. We've been doing that as well.
Yeah, so tell us who we're looking at here.
So this is the highway family. These are the Asian elephants. Eating from the haynet there, that's Tai, who's kind of the matriarch of this family. We've actually got four.
She's the boss, is
she's the boss.
So it's a little bit like Ruth and Eamonn. Ruth's definitely the boss.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if you can see her right at the back, we've got little Reva, who was born in February this year. So she's only really known the zoo in this kind of this lockdown mode. So it's a bit weird for her. It's very surreal.
Absolutely beautiful. Now, look, I know that you and actually your partner as well work here at the zoo, and I know that there's been you know, a letter going around potentially with redundancies for you guys. So even though you work as a charity, this place has to work as a business, and without the visitors, you know, you must be concerned not only for the animals you look after, but also your livelihood.
Exactly. Well, you know, the longer this goes on, the more we worry. We were kind of planning to have it open maybe, you know, this month, and we kind of planned for that, budgeted for that, and thought we can probably make it. The longer this goes on, the more our plans change, and you know, the future's looking a bit bleak at the moment if this kind of pushes on and on and on.
And what will happen to the animals if you don't open?
I mean, the animals are always going to be our top priority. You know, whatever happens in this situation, they will be looked after. You know, we don't own these animals. These are animals that are in breeding collections throughout Europe, so the animals will be okay. It just, we don't really want to think about what that would look like, because logistically it's going to be a huge nightmare for us if that ends up being the case.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, James, for having us. Look, it's absolutely incredible to be here at the zoo today. We'll be here all day, meeting a few more of the animals, penguins next, actually, and also talking a little bit about the amazing conservation work that this zoo does. But without visitors, it's going to be hard to fund it. And really, right now, there is a rather dark cloud over this zoo.
Well, look, yeah, in more ways than one. We're going to be back with Scott, and he's going to show us more later on in the programme.
And also, they've got a Just Giving page. So we're saying at the moment they've got over £1,712,000 and still coming in, Scott. So that's a start, isn't it? It's good news.
Well, look...
it's a massive start. And the people here and the animals as well are very grateful, so keep it coming in.
Yeah.
And talking about the people there and people like James there, I watch a lot of these programmes like Vets in Africa and...
I know every time I come in you're watching an animal.
Yeah, I am. And I visited a lot of zoos in my time. In fact, the first outside broadcast I ever did for the BBC was in 1987 from Chester Zoo, as it turned out. And I always think that I've never seen zoo people who work in zoos, zoo hands, zookeepers, never seen an unhappy one. They all love their job. They're really, it's good for their mind, it's good for just everything, just being out and about. The love and the bond they have with those animals, absolutely incredible.
And when you were filming there, did the animals decide to go to the loo in your shot behind you?
Yes, the chimpanzees...
Always happens.
Yeah, the chimpanzees went to the loo and then they lifted it and flung it at me. I remember that very well.
Oh, lovely elephant.
It was a programme on BBC One called, I think it was on a Saturday night, called One by One, which starred a Northern Irish actor, great actor called Jimmy Ellis, as the zookeeper there. If people remember that programme, One by One.